through. They're going to first pick Graves. It's a pretty common first pick. We saw that a lot last weekend at Anaheim, and it seems they're kind of opening up with a sort of safe setup for now.
Yeah, Graves has been really one of those focused champions. He's very tanky in lane with his passive, and he's just able to stay there and really push somebody out of lane. Buckshot into an auto attack. It's a good amount of damage, and if you can hit those, you can really start to win your lane quite early. We are again seeing Alex go on to Karthus. This has been hugely advantageous for them within games. We see TSM playing this, other teams as well, picking up that Karthus middle. So versatile, and he can just continuously stay in his lane and farm and give himself the kills and assists.
Yeah, so definitely a really great choice there. They're also going to grab that Nocturne in the jungle. You know, there's been 3, I think, really common junglers in this tournament, in the last tournament as well, which was Nautilus, Maokai, and Nocturne. With Nautilus banned out, Moscow 5 choosing to say, yeah, we want to play bruisers in our lineup. We want to grab this Nocturne. And it is actually pretty standard for Diamond's playstyle. He tends to carry a little bit. He tends to play damage dealers more than tanks, and so not really surprised to see him grab this Nocturne here. Wanted to grab that one away. Curse actually coming up with a lot of crazy heavy aggression. They're going for a lot of burst damage here. That Graves Taric lane very good at playing aggressively, and they're going to probably lock that one in, you know, with every other pretty much range carry available here. They've got almost everything but Urgot as an available choice. They're also going to grab that Malphite, which is probably for the jungle, although depending on what Darien ends up picking, that could also go top lane. Yeah,
we have Gosu and Genja to pick now. Those two are going to be together. Bottom lane may just respectively pick their roles here. They're kind of talking it out. You can see these guys discussing what they're going to do. You see Alex in the middle of his team discussing that with Genja and Gosu Pepper on the left. Genja looks like he's going to be taking Kog'Maw for now. Gosu deciding the support here.
Yeah.
The Nunu was the one to say, and there it is, the Nunu pick for the Kog'Maw. This has been a big matchup for a lot of teams coming out this weekend, and it looks like they're going to try to do it again to counter that Graves Taric.
4 times in a row, that Nunu. And actually, real quick, Malphite could, of course, go middle as well. Yeah. And he's actually, I think, a good pick against Karthus. He's a very aggressive laner. He can poke down constantly. Oh, and LeBlanc, of course. LeBlanc, known as a great counter lane to Karthus. Extinct, known for playing LeBlanc as well. Now they've kind of got too many champions here, so we'll see what it ends up being. But this could actually be very, very good. I don't think we've seen LeBlanc yet in this tournament. But again, she's known as a counter lane to Karthus, and that's going to be a very interesting lane if this is what happens. Now, I've seen also something else. Oh, man. They're going for something interesting if they do lock in these champions. You know, they're considering a lot of different options here for their various lanes. I mean, they could send Malphite to the jungle or send him top. They could switch over to Ahri and run Ahri against Karthus. That's also a very good option. And so if they're going to leave these picks in, it's going to send Malphite to the jungle. And we are going to have Anguish at the top lane there on Kayle, which is going to be a very good all-around pick. It can lane against almost anything and survive quite well. And I think they're going to let these champions just kind of lock in, and they are going to grab Ahri and Kayle for the last few picks. So we can see Curse's lineup here. Riv, what does this look like for you?
You know, I really like that pick. If we look at the champions banned out by M5, they're saying we don't want you to pick any champions that are kind of give you upper hand in the end of the fight. Lulu's ultimate goes out. Depth charge can really stun up the entire team. And with what Curse just picked, they're saying Ahri's got a lot of movement. LeBlanc was good, but Ahri can do that one more time. Why don't we just make her invincible, and then she can do it all she wants in the middle of the fight?
Yeah, so they're picking, you know, a lot of damage at, and we saw that earlier with Froggen. I believe it was against Absolute Legends, where that Ahri game, he pretty much assassinated those attack damage carries in the back line, and that is going to be a difficulty here for Moscow 5. They don't have, I mean, they have a meat wall because they have possibly Yorick, Nunu, and Nocturne in the front, but nothing can say, hey, Kog'Maw, don't die, right? They don't have a Lulu or even a Soraka or something that can really prevent him from taking fatal damage, and so grabbing Assassination by, you know, grabbing Malphite for initiation, the Graves burst, the Ahri who can jump around and assassinate. They're kind of saying, yeah, let's go kill the Kog'Maw, and, you know, whatever Cog focuses, we can, you know, pop a Kayle ultimate there. She can turn into a late game carry. They've got a lot of late game damage here on this Curse lineup. But Moscow 5, they have Yorick Karthus and Yorick Nunu, or sorry, Yorick Kog'Maw. And so the amount of damage from those two champions, I mean, this is going to be the focus for this game, is how well does Karthus do and how well does Kog'Maw do? And that is what Moscow 5 are focusing on very, very heavily in this lineup. and it could go phenomenally for them, or it could get shut down.
I feel like M5 has put a little too much emphasis on positioning of their fight. Kog'Maw's going to have to stay on the outside. Nunu's going to have to get on the inside. When you see Malinu's more than happy to unstoppable force, Ari can get pretty much out of anything, so they're going to negate, Alex East trying to get right in the middle. Diamond Prox trying to get right into the middle. Gosu, again, absolute zero. Nunu wants to get into the middle. These guys really are going to have to position themselves better with their team comp.
Yeah, and that is going to be a very big key here, is positioning overall. They've got, 2 high damage all-stars, and they can get picked off. There's a lot of burst damage here from that Curse lineup. So, based on champions, it's going to be entirely a skill matchup.
Yep.
We have seen some games this tournament where, one team got blatantly outpicked, and you just saw, it was just kind of a time bomb. No matter how well the lanes went, you just knew that late game was going to be one team or the other. This one, you've got boundless scaling on both sides, and you've got no sort of hard counters either. It's going to be purely who's going to play this game better. And both these teams are phenomenally skilled. Yeah,
the hard counter really would have been only LeBlanc to Karthus. Right now, with that charm being really the only way Karthus is going to be in range to get damage, he could just go ahead and mill about his creeps and really stay out of that RE charm until level 6. Then he may see himself having a little bit of problems. But before that, if they can focus down on that mid lane, if they can focus as well on that top to get these guys shut down, a very good chance for M5 in this matchup. However, Curse also could be countered a little bit with the Yorick ultimate if M5 can get their positioning correctly with that Kog'Maw. He is going to be able to deal so much damage, and Genja is one of those AD carries that can do that.
Yeah, so, we'll see how the late game scaling goes. As far as the laning is concerned, that Nunu pick, as you mentioned earlier, a great way to fight against Graves' Taric, because you can't burst Nunu, and Nunu can still screw with Graves even if you ignore him.
Yep.
And so he makes, for a really great chance. But, enough of the analysis here. Guys, let's hear you guys cheer for your favorite teams. If you want Curse Gaming to take this one 1-0 and get themselves farther in towards those finals, let me hear you guys cheer for Curse.
All right, and you see them milling about in the jungle here. Now Moscow 5, adversely on the other side of the map, looking to come back from a little bit of a downer game yesterday. If you guys want to see Moscow 5 bring this back into the way they regularly play, let's hear it from Moscow 5. So everybody looking at Moscow 5 to thwart the bleeding. That loss coming to them last night, one of only 2 on the land scene for them. And Curse, actually, from the fans, I've heard a lot. Curse can get the job done here. If anybody else were to be able to beat Moscow 5, CURSE.EU will be the team.
Yeah, so we'll see how this goes in the semifinal right here. You see both teams, after that initial stab for wards here, Curse, I think every single time they've gone for these 2 wards there, they've warded this the Wraith Camp and they've warded the triple brush up by that top lane. They just do not want an early jungler gank at the top lane. They want to give Anguish a very safe early game, and they want to kind of play in that way. So they're going to help Malphite out with his Wraith Camp. They're going to do the same here, of course, with Diamond, who's now got Blood Boil on that Nocturne. That's going to make him jungle extremely quickly. Look at that attack speed, just kind of breaking everything down right here. Very good amount of golden experience gained, and he's got 10 seconds. And there we go. The Golem going to respawn there as well. It is the early jungling kind of being very safe for both sides. Diamond should be able to actually kill this Golem without burning his smite as well. And you can see just how much damage these guys are doing. And look at that, down to 80 health right there. Diamond killing it at 206. He is level 2, and he's going to clear the rest of this camp out very, very easily. And another Blood Boil from from Ghostly Pepper. He really wants to accelerate that jungle pattern from Diamond, level 2, and just running across the map right now.
So doing a very great job. Malino actually a little bit ahead here, but he may slow down as that AoE attack with Blood Boil as well is going to get Diamond Prox quite quickly around his jungle. It looks like they are both clearing Wraith camps right now. A little bit of aggression down bottom. You can see Slepper took some damage. Zinnik most likely grabbing that Dazzle first, and he has. We'll have to see when he gets that imbue to help Slepper get a little bit more sustain. Now, they will be able to poke a lot at Genja, but then again, Genja's going to be able to give himself some range, so it may only be a buckshot every time for Slepper to come in. He's going to have to really decide if that's worth it.
Yeah, well, the one thing, though, that Curse did do is they took over that Golem camp very early on in the game, which gave Graves and Taric as well a very fast level 2. But they didn't turn that into any really major aggression. They didn't try to zone out Kog or Nunu. They just said, well, we're level 2. We'll just lane with our bonus gold. They didn't actually go for any major dives here. However, up the top lane, Diamond is around. Anguish, of course, knows that he came by. He had that ward earlier, but this could be a gank in the very near future.
Yeah, he did just hit level 3. It looks like Diamond will start to back off here. They could have possibly got something down. No wards down bottom. The lane is quite pushed. They don't know where Gosu is. Gosu gets dazzled down. The buckshot comes out. He hits him with Shard. and it looks like the exhaust will go down as well. So almost a little bit of an advantage there for Moscow 5 down bottom. They did burn the exhaust.
Yeah, that's pretty useful. Of course, they did burn a couple of potions themselves. And the one small disadvantage here for Moscow 5 is that Gozu Pepper opened up boots, which means his first gold pretend item, that Philosopher's Stone, it's going to be a bit later on, because you can see Tarek opening with that Fairy Charm is 180 gold on his way toward that first item, and that can matter sometimes. 1 minute with a gold pretend item is 30 bonus gold, and delaying that can hurt you a little bit.
You see Ari moving top here. They do see the diamond is there, low mana, and they are going to go on him with this ignite. He's got about 200 health there. Ari just on the outside. Can she land the charm? And he's forced to flash. Diamond wanting to keep that double buff and first blood away from Extinct in middle.
Yeah, very good choice, of course, too. He had popped his earlier spell shield to try to block out some of Kale's abilities.
A little bit of bottom aggression on Slepper there.
Oh, yeah. A little bit of pain there. Actually, Slepper getting pretty low. Zinnik actually has been maxing Shatter and has no points in Imbue still. And so Slepper now forced to use his last health potion here, while this Kog'Maw still has 2. So Zinnik kind of choosing to go for more aggression by buffing up the armor and dealing more damage with the Shatter instead of trying to heal up Slepper. So we'll see if that ends up being a deficit there, or if they're going to be fine with the later point and heal.
Alex trying to poke as well as CS at the same time. He's getting a little bit of damage down. Ari still with 3 potions, though. These guys really haven't done too much damage to each other. And we do see that Luno coming out from the top side. Will they get the charm on? Could be forced to flash here. The charm goes down, and it is a forced flash. Diamond Prox coming in. Does not try to get the fear tether on. They see that double buff is still on Waluno. So he may be able to, it just wears off. They are going to kind of go neck and neck here, or they decide to back off.
Yeah, so a little bit of damage going off on both ends there. Curse still pretty much pushing, though. They do have that one very, very good ward down by the exit to Golem, so they know whenever Nocturne might come through that part of the map. And so they're happy to keep pushing and try to make Kog'Maw's life difficult. You can see he's actually been forced to miss a couple of last hits here. I think about 2 went down there, so they're denying a little bit of gold because of pushing, and with the ward they're safe, so it makes sense for them to do this.
Yeah, about a minute and a half left, or 2 minutes until we see the junglers really distribute that blue buff into mid, and we'll see the aggression and roaming come from mid, possibly the Alex, Ish, Karthus to start ulting and initiate those fights. The next 2 minutes are going to be big for these junglers to pretty much get that experience up and the lanes to do their job of pushing back. Slepper quite low on mana, but he did just level, so he's going to get a little bit more. These guys may push the lane and go back for their first buy. He does have 39 CS, actually tied up right here with Genja, so these guys down bottom, although harassing quite well, also CSing very well.
Yeah, both players, doing a phenomenal job, and of course, the high-level League of Legends has so much going on at the same time. You've always want to, you always want to try to deal that free damage with harass whenever you get the chance, but at the same time, you've got to keep your gold income up, and so splitting your focus can sometimes be very, very difficult. You've always got to pay attention to, what you're giving up by harassing or what you're giving up by last hitting something. And you can see Anguish taking a bit of damage here. Darian and Diamond going for some pain there, but Kale is surviving this encounter so far. They are shoving this minion wave down pretty quickly, though. They might want to send Darian back for items pretty soon. Yeah,
he's low on mana, but they're really giving a time to Malino here to come in. Darian is quite low. I believe he still has flashes. Diamond Proc used it earlier. He's down about 200 HP. He will be able to get slowed there by the shard. They do get the Q from Kale. Does the E tick, and they're not getting hits on him, going in for the first blood, and they finally get in range. I don't think Kale had enough mana. Had to go for the auto attack. Diamond Procs also the intervention down onto Extinct. Karthus ult coming out, and they may be able to come up with 2, but they will lose Malino in the fray. 2 for 1 as they get first blood at 7 minutes.
Yeah, that means they've shut down that top lane. Now, yes, Karthus does get that 1 kill thanks to his ultimate coming in, getting the last hit credit, and then, of course, the turret picking the kill up. But ultimately, you've basically forced denied an entire minion wave, or even 2 there, at that top lane. So Curse's dive, of course, the first kill was phenomenal, a great gank overall. Tricky by Alex. He knows that entire team went top, and he's going to try to steal the golem away by himself. He's only level 6. He doesn't have a lot of mana or ability power, but he knows everyone's missing. This is such great clarity on his part, and look at that, stealing away that golem. Alex, a great play on his part.
Yeah, big plays coming in there, and they're also going to be able to have 2 blues on the same side, just knowing the mechanics of the game. Like Freaks had so much going on at this level of play, and he was like, hey, everybody was top. Yeah, it's about 720 again. That's going to be back up. Easily went over there and took it, knowing the mechanics of the other team that they had to back, and were also taking that time to buy. Extinct now back into lane, and it looks like these guys in mid, 52 CS to about 58 CS, and you can see those wraiths coming into play a little bit. They're still all even, but it will start to go in Alex Ish's favor as he's grabbing wolves and wraiths now.
Yeah, he's going to start farming pretty well, having that 5-minute advantage. So the Golem buff will last 3 minutes on him. They respawn every 5 minutes, and so he's going to have greater than 50% uptime of a very big mana advantage that will allow him to cast spells and do a lot of interesting things and really shut down some of Ahri's options here. Now Ahri's going to run down towards the bottom. She's not revealed yet by a ward. Now is shown. And look at that. Yeah, Moscow 5 running away back behind their turret. And there's no way that Ahri can get a gank here because she can't get around behind them in time for it to matter, really.
Darian not having fun up top. Still a good amount of armor and magic resistance for him. 75 armor on Diamond as he has gotten himself cloth there. He's trying to build into an item for himself. Darian taking a little bit of damage. Will they get the forward bush push? And they do not. No, Maluno's going to stay middle. Karth is going back up. Alex Ish farming those wraiths again. Slepper still staying aggressive down bottom. And they're really pushing this lane back for being somewhat of a counter to Taric Graves. They are not able to stay on the front side of this lane. The minions just beating down on the turret. And usually, as we said before, we see the top turret going down. There's a lot of aggression to bottom. And to be able to have someone like Taric roam with Graves, you have that stun up as well as that vision control from the smoke bomb. So it just really makes an effective roaming couple.
Yeah, it's really, really powerful overall. And ultimately, Taric Graves has just a lot of area of effect pushing power. In straight-up fights, yes, Moscow 5 would do a very good job. And normally that's what Taric Graves wants to do is fight, deny minions. But they know that this comp is going to work well against them. They know, they'll fight 1-on-1 and 2-on-2 pretty well. So they say, well, instead, we'll push and get an early turret kill. When that turret goes down, Ahri can roam and pick you up. They know that there's not an easy way for that team to live. But here comes the dive in from Nocturne. A lot of damage. Goes Remember getting low, but he doesn't care too much. And there's the card. This ult. Zinnik not going to enjoy this one. Slepper very low as well. But the Malphite ultimate doing a lot right there. Diamond trying to run away. Slepper forced away by Genja. Now Malino, can he do enough damage? They're getting the Fear Tether, but Extinct coming in from the side. Picks up one. Can he reach Gozu Pepper? He misses a spell. He's going to get in range. Auto attacks. Just going to pick that one up. And now Malino taking that turret. He might die to the turret as a result, but doing so much damage. Gonna live just barely. And Kog'Maw, he will not reach in time. And that is 3 kills for 1 picked up there by Curse. A phenomenal job. Good roam by Ahri. And Karth is only getting some minion kills and turret pressure as a result.
Malino picking up a double buff off of that kill as well. Alex Ish says we need to get a little bit of that money back, and he's doing as much as he can with Karth's auto attacks to this tower. As you can see, it's not too much. Kale's coming down, however, as he does not see Darian top. So Angus may try to come in here. And it looks like he's actually just going to thwart off these minions, grab up the experience. Since his lane was pushed, he keeps himself fed up there.
Yeah, we see Alex going through. There we go. Pushing down another set of wraiths here. Darian happily farming at the top lane. Now, the top lane did go pretty equally. It's 79 to 67 in minions, although Kale had the earlier kill from that gank. So she is going to be winning in gold. You can see 3180 to 2934. So yeah, about 25 or 250 gold in the lead right there. Diamond's going to take over mid as Extinct tried to push. And you've kind of got these lanes back to the reset form. Now, you do have 1,500 gold in the lead for Curse. But otherwise, everyone's going to be kind of sitting still and being pretty normal here. So Moscow 5 have not really lost any major advantages other than the kills. No turrets or dragons have gone down. And there we go, the pressure going in. Look at how much damage they're able to do to Kog'Maw now. With that experience advantage from the earlier kills there, they're really starting to become bullies. And if the gold were equal, it would have been a lot better for them. But now, Curse are starting to out-level them and outscale them at the bottom lane.
Yeah, that last fight went pretty well for them. They were able to come up big on kills in the 2 tower dives. A 12-minute Oracles by Malino is going to be very effective on clearing that bottom half of the map, and it's really going to also, push them forward to have more control over Moscow 5's blue.
Yeah, some interesting actually choices being made as well by Genja. He actually picked up some armor and magic resist items because he knows, his power is going to be in late game. That's where they're going to win this one. They know they're getting bullied out early, and he's like, look, I'm Kog'Maw. I can still skill throughout the game. I have Nunu on my team. It'll be fine. I need to rely on not getting assassinated because Curse is aiming a lot at the early game. As I said before, Moscow 5, they're relying on Karthus and Kog'Maw, scaling with that Yorick in there and just being late game terrors and destroying everything themselves. And so right now what Moscow 5 needs to do is reach that late game where Kog'Maw and Karthus can be very beneficial.
Slepper doing what he can to show big aggression. It looks like Zinnik trying to come off of that so he does not get damage done to him. Slowing his attack speed, they're going to give that to Malino, but Zinnik says, no, I'll take the damage and just debut myself. Give a little bit of heal. Alex Ish coming down here to grab his blue. And is there going to be any focus from Diamond Procs? They don't see that Taric is bottom lane. They have to figure that there's something going on here. They have not seen Malino quite after that fight down bottom. They are pinging, and it looks like Curse knows that they're going for their own blue. Graves is going to start moving up, and they do not even contest the first dragon. It's going to come up in 1930. That goes to Curse. 18,000 gold to 15,000, 5-2 here. 13:30 into the match. Angus getting some damage, and the ignite down on him. He is going to have to pop a potion there, give himself some heal.
He's got 3 queued up right now. He's really going to try to sustain himself back in his lane. Spamming that heal as well, though he did actually, wow, he maxed Reckoning first and Righteous Fury second, so he's not trying to sustain so much. He instead bought that Vampiric Scepter for that role, and instead is very much going for a high damage output. Just wants that 10 bonus damage, the bonus attack damage splash ratio there, just really wants to, you know, do as much as possible and just shove, 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 and win one-on-one fights.
Alex now finishing the Rod of Ages, 14 minutes-ish. That's going to be very nice for him. Going to be able to scale with himself as he farms, and his next items to come into play here, and possibly getting himself those Sork boots. A lot of boots too, actually already going on to Curse. Their mobility is getting really up there, especially with movement from Maluno to start those fights with Unstoppable Force and Extinct to be in and out of the fight as well. Looks like they will get some damage down onto the turret, and Curse is playing very aggressive, getting the charm out, but it's just kind of that back and forth attack. They're really not going to commit to it. We do see Cal returning to top lane right now, and they may have choice over this mid turret. They could just go ahead and start doing damage to it, but it looks like they're going to just back towards bottom and possibly get some buys in here. Red is up, so they might grab that or get it on the way back out.
Yeah, I really like this gameplay that Curse is running right now. It reminds me a little bit of Absolute Legends. I think it was Absolute Legends against Chronologic Gaming earlier, where, you know, they ran a very big early game advantage. And it also actually reminds me of CLG.NA against Moscow 5 back at Hanover, where they're saying, hey, you know, let's really do an early game sort of strategy. Let's try to shut down a lane. Let's shove, shove, shove this bottom lane. And, you know, they got that third inhibitor turret down to about 1/4 health. And so they've been pressing very, very good early game advantages. You can see they've built almost 3,000 gold into the lead, which is a very good margin for 15 minutes. And they want to, I think, continue that advantage as soon as possible, where they're going to clear everything out, but they're going to go for more pushes pretty soon. They're going to try to set up ganks. Right now, Kog'Maw does not have anywhere safe to be. That entire lane is without turrets, so they can flank him at any day and any time they want.
Oh, that top lane getting on, but they did not know Diamond Prox was there. He goes straight for Angush. Angush goes down from Requiem. Yorick ult does come out, so he is going to keep himself alive for a little bit longer, but that will be a kill for Extinct as well, so they trade 1-for-1 on that, and not too shabby. A very nice job there, and a great C by Diamond Prox to be there for the counter.
And that was a very good job, ultimately, that gank back in. That is actually a good thing for Moscow 5, ultimately. You know, trading 1-for-1 on kills just pushes the game farther into late game. You know, when everyone's dead, of course, you have to wait for respawns. When everyone gets a kill, everyone gets gold, and so you're basically, you know, shoving everyone up in gold evenly. And so, you know, what they're basically doing is stalling out towards that late game. Moscow 5 trading 1-for-1 is always going to be a very good choice for them.
Wow, Genja and Gosu being very aggressive down bottom, not even letting Zenit get near the turret. They have quite a creep wave there, though, but now possibly seeing Slepper. He just came out of the Fog of War. You see them backing off now, and really not too many wards down bottom for Moscow 5 for how aggressive they're playing.
Well, I think they know that. Yeah, actually, I don't know. You're right. They just don't have any wards. Quick Pepper is going to recall now. He does have his gold for 10s, and he has about 400 gold banked up, so he can pick up a number of wards here, and you're going to see him be a little bit more safe again. That, or they're relying on Curse shoving the minion waves out and saying, yeah, you know, Moscow 5's one ward is the entrance to their own golem camp, basically. And, you know, if Kog'Maw's farming between his 2 turrets right here, then that's all he needs to really watch for.
Yeah, like I said, with that early Oracles, it allows him to just clear that Dragon out and also have really good control of when that blue is coming up. And Alex having that time of blue as well. I think on the other side, they may be off of that now and not have each other's timers, but they are kind of gathering around that position, so it may be coming up soon. They do have good vision, double warding that bush. You can never have enough vision. Double wards. What does it mean?
Well, it means that, yeah, the same timer, frickin' A. I mean, it does watch slightly different things, but there's the great dive up into Karthus. Does charm him. So much damage being dealt. Goes Pepper going to drop almost immediately, but he might get out. The Ignite ticking down. He will drop down. A nice kill picked up there. Predators will ult, and Malino's going to go down to that one. So it's another 1-for-1 trade, and it's a good trade, too. They killed off the jungler with an Oracles and only lost their support. That was a very good trade for Moscow 5. This aggression from Curse, again, they're trying to push an early game advantage, they're really, really trying, and they are going to get a turret out of this, which is great for them. But they're almost being a little bit too aggressive. They're almost giving away advantages with some of their moves here.
Yeah, Curse is going to have to be very careful on their next fight. There were a lot of summoner spells blowing on that one, and M5 still holding quite a bit. You have Darian with all of his, Kog'Maw with all of his as well, and still the exhaust on Alex Ish. So they got to be very careful on their next initiation. It's going to be about 2 to 3 minutes before they can do that really safely.
Yeah, you see Darian actually not. I guess he's getting the turret low. He doesn't quite. He wants the turret to deny the minions and then pick that turret kill up. That's what Darian was doing, waiting around to last hit that turret until his minion wave had died out, and then he's going to sit back here and last hit as normal. So, you know, he doesn't want the lane to push. He's not going for that. He knows he won't reach the second turret, but until then, he does want to get that first one, get some gold for his team, bring it back to 2,400 gold, and then just keep farming gold in this lane.
So 23 minutes coming up, 24 minutes pretty much on both blues right there as we just reach your 19th minute of the game. 7-4 in favor of Curse. As I said before, the fans saying if anybody else were to be able to do it, CURSE.EU very strong right now, 27,000 to 25,000. So 2,000 gold, not too much of a difference as we see the in-pocket gold here. 6,700, no, 6,900 on the 4-0 Alex Ish is your high gold earner of the game. Right behind him, however, is Extinct. So those AP mids are really carrying the game behind them.
Yeah, there we go. Curse with perfect timing on that dragon. And they know no one is around. They ping. They know where Moscow 5 was, actually. They knew they were at the top of the map. The dragon goes down 25-35, the respawn there. And Curse are, again, building these gradual advantages over and over and over again. They have the oracles now on Zinnik, on Taric. He's got boots as well, so he'll be a little bit safe here. And they're going to press in once more. I'm surprised they didn't go for the inhibitor turret a little bit earlier on. I think they could have made a stab for that, but ultimately I think they're trying to roam around the map and clear wards out. I think they do feel safer in fights overall, so they might try to bait something with Baron.
Oh no, Darian getting quite pinched in here. Will he be able to make it out? The entire Curse team trying to gather together top. Unstoppable Force, that's one ultimate down. The charm goes out, and we will see they get the Q from Kale, and it looks like they will be able to drop Darian nice and easy. No, it flashes out, and everybody goes the wrong way. Darian completely keeping himself alive as Alex tries to get into the fight. Very nice from Slepper coming in from behind to pinch those, and it does not look like they're going to grab anybody with Requiem there. An amazing save there for Darian. Alex getting himself in a little bad position, thinking Darian wasn't going to do that, so he actually faked out Alex as well.
Wow, and a great wall of pain, of course, to slow that one down so they couldn't chase, but Alex unfortunately getting caught out by some great aggression here from Extinct. So, despite the fact that they planned for one kill, they got another one instead. And of course, they brought their lead 8-4. And the other good thing is they are sweeping wards very, very well. You've got Taric with a number of ward kills under his belt now.
And that was a very good kill for them. I believe it was Sleppers, and he will be more than happy to end that killing spree of Alex Ish. So going to the 80 carry is going to be very helpful for him. We did see him just finish the Infinity Edge. Kog'Maw is going for a little bit of a recipe build, attack speed with his passive, trying to get a little bit of crit in there. I may have to finish the Wriggles.
He's got 2,300 gold right now. I think it's going to be Phantom Dancer whenever he gets back to base.
Phantom.
But yeah, Genja in general, he's always tends to go back to base really late. He farms off of just a few items for a while. We saw that earlier in their match against, I think it was Absolute Legends, where he had an Infinity Edge and then kind of got back to base at like 4,000 gold and picked up a Phantom Dancer and BF Sword all at once. You're going to see him recall now. He's still got that cloth armor there. I don't think at this point he'll go Wriggles. I don't think he needs it anymore.
Right, won't be enough damage output for sure as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's the Phantom Dancer. That's going to help him get those W's out, the attack speed, allowing to shred that percentage health. And as they move back into lane, Kog'Maw's going to have a little bit more movement speed as well. They get a few attacks onto Diamond Procs. That Foxfire doing a good amount of damage, taking him down to half. Another Foxfire in as well. And Slepper trying to finish this one off, going out, but he just fires off a warning shot there. Genja taking a lot of damage as the Infinity Edge chunking for about 430 per shot on the champions.
Yeah, that damage output was phenomenal. Has Eye Edge plus Zeal, which means he's going to be a very big force right now, and I think they want to push with that. Whenever your attack damage carry picks up a big item like that Infinity Edge, maybe complements it with that Zeal there, this is a really good time. It's kind of like a timing push where you say, look, we just picked up a big item. Our power just jumped by a very large percentage. We just got 10% stronger as a team. We should push with this 10% extra power, and you're going to have Slepper be a pretty big star of the show. And I'll bet you pretty much that Anguish will tend to ult Slepper in the next fight because he's the biggest source of damage right now.
Yeah, you know, it was kind of thought out that it would be Extinct, that Ahri going on, but with Slepper so fed right now, that double buff being able to slow the team as well is really going to make it difficult for them to do what they want to do in the fight. Like we said, Moscow 5 is really focused team comp on getting into the middle, but it's not working for them. Malino able to just unstoppable force, and the intervention has more than once. Actually, they interventioned the wrong person the first time, but it will be saving people in these fights to come, and you got to be careful because Alex is going to go for that Requiem, and they maybe should be able to save somebody with that killing spree.
Yeah, so let's see what the goal is here. Extinct is going to shove this minion wave out. They're actually going to move immediately towards Baron, but Alex bringing that ward in, knows what's going on. He's going to stop that one pretty quickly, and he's going to wall of pain it as well, which again also gives vision. So Curse being forced away from this, but yeah, Curse says, hey, we know we're winning. We just got that Infinity Edge. We want to force a battle, but they're not quite able to. That Baron one is not going to work. You know, Extinct tried to push mid, but he didn't really catch enough damage there onto Genja. He did use that Death Fire Grasp, but you know, the extra little magic resist that Kog'Maw had actually helped him quite a bit. He's just not really falling right now in these battles, and English going to get feared up as well. He's not... Oh, he actually just gets away barely. But Curse actually taking a lot of artillery damage here, and with Kog'Maw and Karthus, Moscow 5 have pretty good poke here. They've actually stabilized this game, I think.
Yeah, they've definitely brought it back a little bit here. Zinnik coming in from the right side, gets the stun and the shatter onto Diamond. Genja showing a lot of aggression here to push them off of that. It looks like they were able to grab their own blue there.
Yeah, Golem buff. Looks like Darien actually got it, so that's going to be low cooldowns and very high damage on this Yorick. Slapper just pushing in there, just wanting to take fights over and over. Knows he can get healed by Tarek, who's actually maxing it imbue last. He went for Dazzle first, or sorry, Shatter first and Dazzle second here on Tarek. So really wanted to play the aggressor there, dealing as much damage as possible, both lowering the cooldown and raising the damage of that stun.
Yeah, if you can get really in close for a buckshot and then shatter, you are going to melt whoever's health you are going against. The ward on the opposite side is going to give them vision of Slepper, and he is quite out of position right now as he chooses to pull back, not seeing any members of Moscow 5 on the map. They do have a ward up on that Baron side and down by the bush near Dragon, so not too much vision for Curse right now. Moscow 5 still trying to give themselves vision as well. They only have one ward on the map. But I like how Zinnik was the next to buy the oracles for Curse, leaving Malino to purchase the items he really needs to be the tank. That getting that Frozen Heart out is going to be very effective against the Blood Boil and Kog'Maw. Yeah,
Frozen Heart's a very, very big buy for them. Kog'Maw is very attack speed based, of course. You know, there's champions like Kog'Maw and Tristana, and Vayne as well, who really, really rely on their basic attacks much, much more than their abilities. Graves can get by with low attack speed because he's got that buckshot and that collateral damage, the smoke screen, things like that. He's a little bit less reliant on attack speed, but Kog'Maw really, really is. And so their ability to immediately buy the attack speed slows, the Malphite with the Unstoppable Force and the Ground Slam, the Frozen Heart as well. That's an extremely intelligent buy there, instead of picking something like Sunfire K for Randuin's.
Now we got 26 minutes into the game. 31-53 is going to be your next Dragon as it just went down. So we'll see what they can choose to get that Curse, picking themselves up another one, 8-4, and they have a 5,000 gold lead right now, almost pushing that to 6,000 as they're just on that 39,000 gold mark. Moscow 5 with 2 turrets to the 4 of Curse. They are still very much in this game. That Dragon is only going to allow Curse to kind of recipe their items a little bit more, but I don't think that's going to allow them to complete anything. So right now we are just seeing the inventories of both going to be what's really going to come into the next fight. That positioning of Genja and Gosu is going to be huge here. Now that they will have Yorick into this fight, we're going to see if that Darien ult can really make an effective 6v5.
Yeah, well, it's going to be I think they have a good chance of that. It tends to be that Curse fights for Alex Ish first. They try to blow up that Karthus, and Yorick Karthus, you've got double zombie Karthus. That's really hard to deal with there. He jumps in there, turns on Defile, deals a bunch of damage. You know, he's level 15 right now. He's actually very, very close to 16. That's a very important level for them. And just as he gets it, they jump onto Zinnik, and they're going for this one. Nocturne up in the front, and there is that rank 3 Karthus ultimate. Zinnik will fall down as a result. A great jump there. Good movement. Genja getting chased down. Extinct, though, getting caught out as a result. He flashes away, dashes one more time, and suddenly Moscow 5 have turned that fight around. It was a very, very nice job there. Rank 5 smoke bomb from Slepper is going to slow them down, and Moscow 5 will not catch up. But, oh, he jumps in onto Kog'Maw, picks that one up. Extinct, not like a Diamond right now, and will fall back, but Malphite coming in there. A lot of damage being dealt. Genja's ghost goes down. Melino trying to get away, but that could be an explosion. And he will pick up another kill, and Moscow 5 turning that one on its head. They only lost 1, and they picked up 4 kills.
Now, to Genja's, for him, he did not think he was still alive. He kind of just ran in and stood there. He didn't know he was ghosted. But for him, though, you kind of look the same in a Cathian surprise as you do as Yorick goes. But they're still able to come up big on that fight. A very nice job there. Yorick ult onto Kog'Maw, and they were able to still get a good amount of damage done from that Cathian surprise. Looks like Slepper taking a lot of damage, forced to flash out. They are going to focus on Darien still. It looks like Slepper did not have the same idea, and they easily could have picked up a kill there if they were communicating that well.
Yeah, but that Yorick getting so very tanky, Slepper not going to stop them in time. Darien actually going up to the front. I don't know if Slepper wants to fight this. Well, I guess he does. He's going to chase in. The Nocturne Q, they're going to poke him down a little bit and say, you need to run away right now.
Just coloring all over.
Yeah, a little bit of fun swirly stuff going.
So we got like a 35-20 Dragon coming up, or Baron rather, coming up soon. So we will see this for the next 4 minutes on Moscow 5. They're going to go ahead and clear up all these waves. You do see a lot of gold on both teams. 9,700 for Extinct, 9,600 for Alex Ish. So those guys still carrying their teams quite well. 9,800 actually on Slepper, so he has pushed into the gold lead now. Very nice for Curse, but this Baron, like I said, kind of slows down the game for CURSE.EU, and they're going to have to regroup here. This next team fight is going to be big, but we saw this happen earlier. We were saying, Ari being that executioner, she is able to just go in and take somebody down. We saw this happen yesterday with Froggen and Pookie style down bottom, but it looks like she will not make it out alive. She does go down by that Karthus ulti.
Yeah, and that's the kind of thing where, you know, that great presence from Karthus makes those fights really scary to take. Kog'Maw did a lot of damage in that engagement overall. The extra resist, the magic resist. Oh, and the nice smite steal. Malino picking that one away from Diamond. Nice move there. That's actually pretty valuable. But yeah, so Ari, you know, taking that kill did give a lot of gold to Alex Ish, which is a little bit of a scary thing to do, but she did deny one of those Baron buffs. That is a pretty big deal as well.
You know, I guess if there were any time for the other team to grab Baron, this was the best for Curse. Their lanes are quite pushed. They don't have to deal with defending any inhibitors, and you can see they're still quite aggressive. Past the river already, they still have good warding. So right now, I guess, you know, if there were any time for a best time to get Baron to the other team, that was it. And they're really holding off Moscow 5 really well. They haven't utilized this Baron whatsoever.
Yeah, they're not able to do any big pushes. Of course, Curse still up 3,000 gold, and I think Moscow 5 wants to drag it even later on in this game. I think, you know, Kale's going to be a big carry, and Graves and Ari the same way, but, you know, Nunu Kog'Maw is a hard thing to pretend to outscale, and so yeah. Moscow 5 in a 6-item game where everyone has maximum items, everyone has, you know, 15,000 gold in every item they ever need, I think that's actually a little bit in Moscow 5's favor, not by much. Again, whoever actually has more gold is going to tend to do better in this game, but the ideal hour-long case, I think that is better for Moscow 5, and, you know, being that they're down in gold right now, they might just want to push towards that mark a little bit closer and fight on better and better terms as the game goes on.
Yeah, Curse has a pretty good wave clearing team, but it's not super duper. It's not a Karthus. It's not a Yorick to just throw out ghouls and have the Dustbringer from Nocturne. So it's going to be pretty big for pushes. As you said, M5 in the late game is just going to be able to knock on that door of Curse if they can keep this in their favor. Curse, again, still being very aggressive with the Baron under the belt of Moscow 5. This fight could go either way if they are able to pick one off. That is exactly what Curse is looking for. The charm goes out, but it is just going to be that. And now with the charm down, that says we are happy to initiate. Paranoia coming out, but the tether does not go down for fear. Darien trying to get himself out front. Extinct using that blue buff to keep spitting out Foxfire and her spells, and it looks like they are forced to back. Very nice wards.
Double wards again from Curse.
Triple wards all over. That's as we see in these tournaments now, everybody trying to get into the choke point, and the ward fighting begins more than the regular ability fighting.
Yeah, a little bit of that. Vision, of course, very, very vital as you get into the late game in League of Legends. That, you know, picking off one champion because he didn't see you around that corner, that can turn the game around immediately. We did see that earlier when they got that quick kill on the Tarek, and they snowballed the fight there and picked up Baron. And Moscow 5 wants a similar situation. They're actually going to go for the Dragon. This is their first Dragon of this game. Moscow 5 finally having the map control to go for that themselves. And you go that Slepper's going to say, okay, you're all at the bottom. Yep. I'll push top instead. And he might get a turret out of this. The turret is low, and he's going to stay onto it. So
38-20 for your next Dragon. Darien here going to give him a little bit of trouble as he goes for the turret. That's slow, both getting slowed. And as you said, he did max that smoke, so it was going to give him a good bit of distance. But Darien trying to catch up with another ghoul. Looks like they're quite spread out. Good vision from Living Artillery there, so they can't make too many moves. Oh, Charm just missing Diamond procs there. And looks like the Baron has worn off. Baron was supposed to come up in another 3 minutes, just about. I believe it was 35-53. So we will see both teams going after that in a few minutes. Looks like they're pushing down towards this mid turret. Great warding by M5 down bottom if they need it. But right now, really, Curse just staying in their face. So these wards not doing any justice down bottom. Charm coming out, just missing Genja there. And Moscow 5 is trying to turtle this up. Like I said, that wave clearing pretty well. Curse not able to get too much damage. Darien taking a bit there. Will be able to sustain himself, though, as he goes into the jungle and hits a few creeps. And it looks like we may get some buys down on here for Moscow 5, as nobody's really making any gain here on the fights in mid.
Yeah, Diamond at 1,500 gold, goes back, grabs a Warden's Mail. They're really stacking armor in this matchup. And, of course, when you're fighting against Kale Graves, yeah, you kind of want to worry about armor a fair amount. Ari, even if you buy Magic Resist, she does have some true damage on her kit. And Malphite, he's building tanky instead of ability power, so his burst is not phenomenally high. You don't have to worry about that too much. And again, they're going to be focusing Kog'Maw more than he's going to be focusing like Nocturne or Yorick. So yeah, it's a very good choice here for Moscow 5 for all their melee champions to build up armor mostly, because Graves is going to have to hit them. Kale the same way. The more armor and health they have, the longer it takes. And you know, the quick rule of thumb on how attack damage carries work in League of Legends is assassins and mages can blow you up very quickly. You look at the builds here, and they're building all damage and no durability. Let's take Graves, for example, right? Infinity Edge, Phantom Dancer, Longsword. He has plus 100 health, plus 80 health from Doran's Blade, and like a little bit of lifesteal, right? But the entire rest of it, burstable. You can just blow him up in 2 seconds if you want.
Genja getting hit very hard down bottom, down to a sliver of health. And there is the power of Ari right there. That is not going to take him down with Requiem either, but it does leave him there by the skin of his teeth as they make it out with a quick kill on Genja. And this is what you said before, Freak, being able to mill about the map and take them out one by one.
Yeah. The ability to assassinate there is phenomenal. And you saw the same for Kog'Maw, right? You know, not a lot of durability on his build. He's got Mercury Treads, and that's about it for resistances, and so he can drop down very quickly. And so these attack damage carries, they have to fight what's in front of them. They can't dive back. You're not going to see Graves fight Kog'Maw in the beginning of a fight. If that happens, something really strange happened to allow that. Generally speaking, you have to fight the tanks first. You've got to blow up what's in front of you because you can't dive past them without dying. And so these tanks building so much armor and so much health to survive those fights, it basically means that, you know, Graves can't fight Karthus and he can't fight Kog'Maw if he has to get through all this armor first. And so Diamond and Ghosty Pepper and Darien are building all this durability so that they can get into that front line, stay in front. You know, Ari doesn't want to switch her focus to them either because that wastes all of her cooldowns and her damage output. And so they're going to be building as durable as possible and just try to out-weather that Malphite Taric front line.
So now as we crest into that 36th minute, Baron has respawned. Moscow 5 able to grab the first Baron, but really gain no advantage with it. They did get a little bit of golden experience there, but really they just used that to farm. Curse, however, on the aggression here, are going to start getting some wards down. I believe they still do have an Oracle on the map here. We're going to have to see if Moscow 5 can really push into this one as we see wards all over the place right now. The ward fighting to begin as the Baron dances. Well, Kale, actually Anguish a little out of position here. If he is to be seen by anything, actually they may bait that out for the fight. They may feel strong enough to go ahead and do that. Anguish does not have teleport, but maybe they feel comfortable in the 4v5.
That worries me a little bit. I don't know if that's the best choice for Curse. Now, the one thing is, though, they force Moscow 5 to react to that, because if they ever go for Baron, they're going to lose their bottom inhibitor. And look at that. Zinnik sweeps out Baron wards. And Anguish, you know, he has invulnerability, he has a haste, he's got flash still. He could probably escape from almost any 1 versus 2 unless Moscow 5 plays it beautifully. But they don't have a ton of great crowd controls. So Anguish could survive most encounters. And there, again, you know, the wards were swept out there by Taric. And I think Curse is going to say, hey, I think we can out-split push you. Let's try this.
Yeah, they're doing a really good job. And they actually made Kog'Maw Genja go down there. So it turned into a 4v4, which, you know, as you said, they're kind of making them do what they want. Slepper up top. He is going to be in good position for Baron as well as they farm that. He may be able to bait out something as well for an attack onto him, getting out of there with his blue buff. They may want that. So we'll see him turning down now towards Baron. They did sweep those wards. The pings come down from Moscow 5. And we're about to dance it out for your second Baron of the matchup. 54,000 gold to 50,000. So still not too much separate these teams. Moscow 5 able to grab that first Baron. Curse is now milling about that area as Anguish keeping vision with the creeps. They're pushing as much as they can. Those creeps are also acting as their vision as they push into lane. And here we go, Freak. Moscow 5 starting to gather in that Wraith area.
Yep, so English getting pushed away. The wall is down from Karthus. He'll do some damage to Diamond. Darian getting bursted out a little bit, and they're going to jump in onto him. There's the damage out, but right onto Yorick. Extinct getting jumped on Diamond. He's not going to stay on there, and there we go. Alex in the front already picks up one. Malphite goes down. Oh, it does go down to the Sliver, but that will end before Karthus ult hits, and so much damage being dealt as Tarek now also falls. Extinct has been exhausted, and he will drop as well. Moscow 5 with 3 kills. English still getting chased away. That Kog'Maw is going to flash in for the double kill and dive Slepper as well. Genja diving for those last 2 kills and picks them up. And this is going to give Moscow 5 free reign over Baron Nashor.
You know, that was huge, and it was big by Darian to get out of that play. He got Deathfire Grasp, and he also flashed out of that one while taking about half of his health, so he left himself up. Even if they started having trouble, they still had his ultimate for Alex Ish. Alex flashed in when Darian flashed out, and it was a perfect combination of them not having the abilities to shut down Moscow 5 in the fight. It was a great job by Darian. I don't even think he meant to keep himself out there, but he sucked up a lot of cooldowns that Curse needed for that fight.
Yeah, I think it was a bit of a misplay there to ultimately try to dive Yorick in the fight.
Yeah.
I think they thought they had better positioning and they could have bursted him down at the very beginning, but absolutely great job at Moscow 5. Their positioning was phenomenal. Their melees were in front. They refused to die, and they let Genja and Alex just deal damage over and over and over.
So there it is. The tides have turned once again. Moscow 5 now having control of the jungle and dragon. They now have control of timers for Curse. As we just saw, Extinct taking blue, blowing up Genja bottom. This is going so back and forth, and it is still anybody's matchup. Moscow 5 grabbing their second Baron of the game, 11-14 now. They pull themselves into the lead.
And there we go. Curse going to try to wave clear again. They don't want to lose turrets. I think they can still delay this game out. The gold only 1,500 different. Curse can always get that one fight. Because Moscow 5, their power is focused on 2 champions. It's focused on Kog'Maw and it's focused on Karthus. If they can bring down one of those 2 and then run away from the Yorick Ghost until it expires, you've basically dropped 50% of Moscow 5's major damage output. And once that has been done, Curse can take another fight. They can all get down to half health in just killing a Kog'Maw and feel like they've succeeded because they can come back in, they can lifesteal some health back, 2 of them have lifesteal. Ahri has Spell Vamp. They've got both Tarek and Kale who can heal. They're happy to dive and take risks to pick up 1 kill, and they can then turn around and say, yeah, 5-on-4 is really more like 5-on-1, and they'll be happy to take that kind of fight.
Yeah, and as you can see, Extinct, knowing that timer, he says, I want it, but I'm alone, and this is a bad decision. So Extinct now backing, going to get another purchase under his belt. And it looks like they're actually quite fed right now. That Void Staff, Rabadon's Rod of Ages on Alex Ish. Abyssal Scepter to help out the entire team. That's going to really be nice for Unstoppable Force and a little bit of Malphite damage as well. That Rabadon's and the Deathfire Grasp for Ahri. So looking for somebody in that full HP. If she can get over to Alex and burst him down, that will not be a problem for her to execute.
All right, there we go. The pressure coming in here from Moscow 5. They're going to lose their first set of minions here, but they are just going to camp out in front. They've got Baron buff for another 1.5 minutes left on this. And they're going to stick around for sure. Kog'Maw using a little bit of artillery there. He did get the Golem buff earlier, which means you can happily cast these spells. And they're going to push in once again for the turret. Now, Curse, they have decent wave clearing with Graves' Buckshot and Ahri's Orb of Deception. But other than that, they're all going to have to kind of wait around and hope they don't get assassinated in any scary way. Moscow 5 just going to play the siege game.
Going in, Kog'Maw getting a few attacks down there, 371 crit coming out, and a little bit of the percentage health from Kale on that W. We have Starks, Locket of the Iron, Solari as well. That could come up huge for the Karthus ulti in the fight if they can stay grouped for it.
Yeah, you took a lot of damage there. That was a really good burst.
And it looks like Darian trying to suck up some cooldowns again. They were happy to do that last time. Kog'Maw getting hit right there by Extinct. Looks like Genja's like, yeah, I'm not safe there, but he does have a Guardian Angel right now. And as you said, that blue buff able to fire living artillery all the time. As long as they have Yorick in the fight as well, you can even get another Kog'Maw out of that. So potentially 3 Kog'Maws in this fight.
3 Kog'Maws. There's a lot of Kog'Maws to deal with. And of course, they'll all be blood boiled too. So it's going to be really, really scary.
That top turret going down. So the minions are saying, hey guys, we know you're turtling base. We'll do a little bit of work for you. Top minions taking down a tower for Curse here, so that's going to give them some gold they weren't really receiving as a whole. They're kind of just killing these one-laners coming down mid, and now they have a bit of an advantage here, finding Darian on the right wing. but they say, wait, there's one. That means there's probably 5. Let's go this way. So Curse keeping himself very safe and almost not even giving themselves enough time to take that Wraith Camp.
No, they're going to move up and take down this turret instead. They got a giant minion that happened to run up at top, and they're like, yes, let's ride this into victory. Let's try to get a turret down. If they break an inhibitor, they're going to have a huge set of map control advantages. There we go, the Moscow 5 shows up, but Curse did waste a lot of time. That Baron buff is gone, and no, Molino getting caught up there right there. They're going to go in for that one. A lot of damage being dealt by Nocturne. He's been forced away at extremely low health. There's the KO. He's going to ult back in. So much damage.
Wow.
Alex might go down. Goes to Pepper will ult as well, though. That's an absolute 0, blowing people up. Kale's going to get 1 shot down. The Karthus also going to pick up, not going to pick up Zinnik actually, but still 2 dead to, looks like 1 dead. And Diamond's going to pick up the ace, and there are the last few kills coming through for Moscow 5. And they picked up an ace for 1 death. A great play there.
As Baron wore off there, they're still able to come out very strong in the fight. They have a full reign over this mid as they're going to go down, bust down that first turret. They do, however, still have that open inhibitor bottom. They have about 30 seconds average on this one to really get themselves in. Actually, a little over 30 seconds. A lot of those 42, 45 respawn times. They are definitely going to be able to get this inhibitor and clear out a good amount. They don't have too many more waves pushing, and still 2 full turrets down bottom and 1 full turret to go down to that inhibitor. They're going to go for Nexus turrets, however. It does not look like they'll have anybody to really stop this within the next 20 seconds. Moscow 5 beating down on the Nexus turrets, and they will solidify game 1 with the 2 Baron take and not giving Curse a chance after it. 19-12, your final score.
Wow, a phenomenal, phenomenal job there by Moscow 5. Just completely a crushing performance. They gained, you know, such a comeback, of course. They were down 8-4 in kills.
Yeah.
You know, a good amount
at some
of
point,
gold.
5,000-6,000 gold, and then bringing it back.
Yeah, but it was the one fight. They finally caught a break. They assassinated one champion, and they just dove onto that 5 versus 4, and they completely turned it around from that.
Yeah, that was a huge game for them. Curse obviously coming in huge in the beginning. They were able to shut down that Kog'Maw and Nunu, but right after like level 4 or 5, starting getting pushed back very hard. Kog'Maw finally got 6, and that, even though they didn't have a turret there, they were still fighting it out in the lane, and they were just able to push out Graves so much. Even we said, we're like, why is Moscow 5 playing so aggressive with like 0 wards down bottom and just vision on the blue buff? But you know what? It worked out, and it paid off for them in the end.
Yeah, you just gotta hand it to their team play overall. They were always together, and you know it's the inverse of kind of how they won the game. Is none of them really got caught out. If anyone did, you know, Kog'Maw got jumped by Ahri. You know, there was the one case where he got caught by that first turret, and he died, but he dealt so much damage that Karthus picked up the kill with Requiem. He got caught a second time out, and actually Curse survived that battle just barely. But you know, the ability for that whole team to kind of get together, make those fights happen. Goes to Pepper getting a really good ultimate in that last fight as well. Karthus jumping in the front, not caring if he dies because he knows he'll do so much damage. And because he's forced, you know, all of that Curse lineup to focus him first, Kog'Maw gets free reign with, you know, Nunu Blood Boil, possibly Yorick Ghost as well. He just destroys everyone else. I mean, the initial catch there on Malino, right, where he got down to 1/4 health, Kale had to ult him. He knew he was going down, so he just unstoppable forced back into that fight. I mean, just the amount of damage they have. They said, oh, yeah, it's a big take Mal fight. That's fine, we'll go for it, right? And they just dealt so much damage, and they just broke down those targets. And everyone who needed to be safe was safe. Yeah, Kog'Maw had 4 deaths, but they were all deaths during dives and ganks. He did not go down in team fights, you know, until maybe the very, very end. And he was able to deal damage in every one of those battles, and that is that power of a well-played Kog'Maw. Yeah,
an amazing game played there, and only the first of our first best of 3 here today at the DreamHack Summer 2012 here in Jönköping, Sweden. Your day of finals for League of Legends. Are you guys enjoying these games this weekend? Very good, guys. We're going to be back right after this commercial break. Don't go anywhere.